During this recording, I'm going to be talking to you about protecting and restoring ecosystems and touching briefly on the impact of agriculture. As you can see here, in the last 50 years, the population of the world has risen by about 4 billion people. Along with feeding all those people, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 15 states that we need to protect, restore, promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, and halt and reverse land degradation, and halt biodiversity loss. The take-home message of the State of Nature Report 2023 is that wildlife is in steep decline. One of the greatest drivers of that is agricultural land use. I'm going to be taking you out into the Devon countryside to see the impact of that, and we're also going to take a tour of a local woodland and find some temperate rainforest, forest that used to cover most of the west of Great Britain. I've come to this location in Dunsford, just outside Exeter in Devon, the UK, because it's an excellent example of how cropland and pasture land buttress up against native woodlands. Agriculture covers about 68% of the UK land use. 55% of that is for crops and 40% is for pastures such as this. There's no trees or shrubs on this pasture land, and that's because ruminants such as sheep and cows nibble the shoots as soon as they arrive. I'm going to be taking you down to Totnes to look at a project that I was involved in, helping to protect those shoots. But before I do that, I'm going to take you into that native woodland you can see there and show you some of the last examples of temperate rainforest. So here we are in about a quarter of a mile into the ecosystem that you saw on the left hand side there, and as you can see it's dense native woodland. The river's high, it's been raining, so it's flowing fast. And in the middle of all this is one of my favourite trees, this huge oak tree. And the reason I'm coming to show you this one is because it is an example of temperate rainforest. And temperate rainforest used to cover the whole west coast of the UK. And temperate rainforest is defined quite simply by having an organism which has other organisms growing on it. And as you can see, there's moss growing on there at the bottom of the trunk, and I'm going to try and zoom in on some of the branches up there, and on some of those branches there's ferns growing and other organisms. And temperate rainforests are some of the most rich ecosystems that we have here in the UK. An oak tree like this can sustain about 100 species of different animal and plants. These are some examples of some ferns, mosses and lichens that I found growing nearby. Before I take you down to Totnes and show you the restoration project that we did, I wanted to show you these. These are tiny oak trees that have naturally sprouted in this ecosystem. There's 3, 4, 5 here, 6 different ages, probably between 2 and 6 years. And it just goes to show that if things are left alone, nature will find its way. Nature found its own way too, down here near Totnes, but we just gave it a helping hand by putting these tree guards on to protect these young oaks. These are almost certainly seeded by jays and the odd squirrel that left them behind. The first 2 words of the UN SDG 15 is protect and restore, and we need to do exactly that. To do that, we need to preserve the kinds of places we visited in this video, and we also need to reclaim unproductive farmland and let nature take its course. And that way, hopefully we can protect and restore our landscapes. Nearby, I found this young oak which had been seeded amongst the bracken. Being amongst the bracken should keep it safe from passing deer.